I got a comment recently calling one of my videos unoriginal. I wasn't mad and I didn't take it personally, but I did end up doing a metric fuck ton of research. I did a little bit of research and soul searching on the topic. I read a couple of books on it, and that comment got me thinking about it, right? It got me thinking. It made me ask the question of what the hell is an original idea? What's original content to begin with, right? What can we consider something original? Because the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I don't really think that exists, right? And that was like my initial question or the initial assumption that I made. And when I started looking into this, I actually found a lot of great stuff, like really strong, motivating stuff that made me feel good and inspired me. So I felt like bringing these words to you guys with this video, or at the very least to pose you guys the questions. What do you guys think about the whole idea of content being original or not original, or everything being slop now or whatnot, but more on the line of just originality, right? Of people copying other people, right? And it can be in the form of videos, or it can be in the form of art, music, right? Creation in general. I just got back from the gym. I'm extremely fucking sweaty. So before I shower, I'm gonna do this so I can get through it quickly, because I tend to go on and on and on and yap so fucking much. And it's a hassle recording this in my hot fucking room. Yeah, we're gonna see if we can get through this. I went and read a small book. I believe the author was Austin Kleon, and it was called Steal Like an Artist. It's a very small book. It's a very short book. I use audiobooks. I don't have time to actually sit down and read a fucking book, all right? Anyways, it was a short book, and I ran into it while looking up this stuff. And the entire premise is that, as you can pretty much tell, is that nothing is completely original, right? I then watched a documentary series, a 10-year-old documentary series on fucking YouTube, on how everything is a remix. The author's entire argument is that creativity comes from copying, transforming, and combining existing things. Pretty much the same idea or the same concept or the same line of thinking as the book Steven Johnson wrote, Where Good Ideas Come From. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I could not get through the entirety of that book, because that one was very thick. It was kind of hard to get through. That one was a little bit hard to get through. I wasn't jiving with how he was describing things and with the stuff he was talking about. But the general idea is that ideas emerge from existing ideas interacting with one another. So you basically have a form of, like, for example, you can't really have GTA 6 without GTA 5 or GTA 4, and you can't have GTA 4 or GTA 5 without the existence of the competition. And not only that, you can't really have GTA 5 without Red Dead Redemption 2 or Red Dead Redemption 1. Right? Like, none of these games can actually exist how they do right now without the previous existence of other ideas or other contradicting ideas. For example, you can't really have the idea of a 3D fighting game like Tekken if you don't really have the concept of a 2D fighting game like Street Fighter, and vice versa. Richard Dawkins, who introduced the concept of memes, not internet memes, but the ideas that spread, evolve, and replicate through culture. Carl Jung talked about recurring archetypes and stories that humanity keeps rediscovering, right? With the whole collective consciousness theory. Different people, different fields, different decades, and somehow all of these guys ended up pointing towards the same place. Maybe originality isn't invention. Maybe originality is recombination, right? Maybe every creator is a remix artist in a way, right? Because that is pretty much what a lot of these guys are pretty much saying in our terms, or at least in my terms. First, you might think it's a little bit depressing, but really, I don't think it's depressing at all. I think it's something that is quite the opposite, and it can be very liberating. Because one of the biggest reasons people never create anything is because they think they need to be original. They think they need a revolutionary idea. They think they need to discover something nobody has ever thought of before. And because of that, they can't find it, because they never start. They're frozen. Frozen by perfectionism, frozen by judgment, and frozen by trolls or people just throwing negativity and naysaying their way. Frozen by fear of looking stupid. frozen by the idea that they don't know what they're doing. But the truth is that nobody knows what the fuck we're doing. Nobody knows what the fuck we're doing. We're all just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. At the beginning, no one knows what the fuck is going on, right? We're making up shit as we go, and we're learning with every step that we take. That doesn't just happen to artists in this example, right? Or YouTubers or entrepreneurs or musicians or anybody working in anything, trying to do anything in their life. It can be applied to fitness. It can be applied to business. It can be applied to relationships. It can be applied to your day-to-day life. Nobody has any idea on what they're doing until they're actually doing something about it, or they're actually doing stuff to figure it out. You learn by moving. You learn by actually creating something. Doesn't matter if it's a carbon copy of someone you look up to, or someone you idolize, or someone you like. It doesn't matter. The point is that even if it's a copy, even if it's something that takes heavy duty inspiration after something else, at the end of the day, you put it together and you're able to recreate it in your own vision. Fan fiction comes into play, right? The whole idea and concept of fan fiction is basically that. You take pre-existing characters and you make your own story with it. That entire concept is literally based around that. You're taking someone's work and you're going with it, you know? You're using that as a foundation, and a lot of writers start that way. Same thing with artists. You look up artists that you whose art style you really like, you really enjoy, whose story you really resonate with, and you start mimicking their art style, right? And you like what they do and you start mimicking it. It eventually ends up looking like them, or a copy like them, a copy of them, right? But then eventually you find another artist, and then another artist, and then another artist, and then another artist, and you take bits and pieces from all these different artists, and then you start putting it together, and you start developing your own style, mixing and matching the things you like from each and every artist, right? So now all of a sudden you're not copying anymore, right? Now you're putting things together with different ingredients that already existed, or different styles that already existed, and ironically making your own unique combination. Really, the way that you learn is by that, right? Before you get to that process, you need to learn by actually moving out and doing these things. Or not by moving out, but by moving and doing these things, by creating, by making garbage, right? By failing publicly. You have to fail. There is something you learn by failing and by doing these things, right? Most of the videos that I made, I am well aware that they're not good, right? They're not the best. All right, they probably never will be, and that is perfectly fine, because all the videos that I'm making are practice. Every thumbnail or every title that I try to make, every time I record the video, every edit, all of that, every upload, right? Everything is just practice until eventually I can find that video that I can look at and be like, yes, that is what I wanted to make. That is what I really wanted to make. I'm really satisfied with that video. And all of that is a journey in pursuit of that point, of that moment. And it's an endless pursuit, because chances are you're probably never going to reach that moment. But that's perfectly fine, because the journey itself is the fun part. With fitness, the same thing. You start aiming at milestones. The first milestone for any beginner, bench pressing 135. That is a plate on each side. Bench press 135, right? Squat 135 or squat 225. Doesn't matter. Deadlift 315 or 225. Again, doesn't matter what type of beginner lifter you are. Doesn't matter. The point is that you have a milestone. Once you hit that point, you're going to want to do it again, right? And then you aim a little bit higher. So I hit 225. Let's now aim for 315, right? Oh, I hit 315. 225 is 2 plates. 315 is 3 plates, by the way. I hit that. And then I just keep going, and you keep going and keep adding more weight until you can't physically just keep adding more. And it's not a pursuit of like, ooh, I want to be the strongest, or I want to be this. It's just the endless pursuit of perfection until you get tired, until you get bored, until you move on. It doesn't matter, but you're pursuing something. For the example for the videos, I'm not trying to make the perfect video. I'm trying to become the person capable of making those type of videos, of making good videos. And that's a huge difference. And after doing this little bit of soul searching, basically after that one fucking comment, I think style and the style that you do things and the way that you do things is what's left over after you've copied enough people and you kept going and you kept creating whatever it is that you wanted to create. It's what you learned along the way. Eventually, your fingerprint starts showing up in your work, right? It starts showing up in your art, in your music, in your videos, in your scripts, right? In your writing. Your own style of doing things will eventually pop up, and that is perfectly fine. It's a process. It's a long and slow process that we should enjoy. Eventually, your personality leaks into it, right? Eventually, your experiences start leaking into it, and your perspectives as well start showing into that work that you're putting in. And that is what people call authenticity. That is what makes something authentic. And authenticity isn't really the absence of influence. Authenticity is the unique combination of your influences. That brings me to one of my favorite ideas, is that you are the sum of your influences. This is literally a big talking point in a lot of these books. In fact, where the good ideas come from. In that book, that is actually a big portion of one of the beginning parts, that you are a sum of your influences, right? Your humor, your beliefs, your tastes, your opinions, your hobbies, your values, your ambitions, your feels, your fears. It's all influenced by who you're around, by your friends, by your family, by the type of stuff that you're consuming constantly, right? It's all influenced by that. One of the books quotes Jay-Z, and it uses a quote. The context of the quote is that Jay-Z talked about growing up without a father and how that forced him to find his fathers elsewhere, in music, in history, in role models, in the people he chose. And everybody fucking does this, and more now. This actually goes even deeper with how social media influencers, and with my previous video, you have to learn how to think for yourself. Basically, a lot of these people are using a lot of these big personalities online as a replacement for your father figures or your mother figures, right? They're using these people as replacements for that. And it can be good, and at the same time, it can be bad. That's why you have to develop that inner voice so that you can dictate whether, this person is actually worth copying, right? So there's nothing wrong with actually being influenced by somebody or actually copying somebody, but it all really depends on who you are copying. So you have to have a level of scrutiny and awareness and make sure that what you really like and what you're really mirroring is something good, positive, that helps you and those around you. Because if you're mirroring something that is harmful to you, those around you, or brings up harmful beliefs for you and your style of living, I don't think that's good for you. I don't think that's a healthy thing. And the quote is, it's very real, because we're constantly choosing who influences us. Sometimes we're doing it consciously, sometimes we're doing it unconsciously, which means your job isn't to avoid influence, because that's fucking impossible. Your job is to choose better influences, right? Your job is to collect good ideas instead of the trashy ones, right? Or the bad ones. Because all creativity is basically remixing, and then the quality of your remix depends on the quality of your ingredients, right? So if you consume garbage all day, don't be surprised when garbage ends up coming out the other end. You know what I mean? If you consume thoughtful ideas, meaningful experiences, right? Good conversations, genuine thought-provoking stuff, and engage in these discussions, eventually those things will become a part of you, and they will change the way that you view the world and you view yourself. It will make a positive change. Surrounding yourself with that will be far better than, again, surrounding yourself with information that you yourself will eventually grow out of, or that doesn't really fucking matter in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't matter to you or those around you. And when those things become a part of you, it's not copied onto you, it's integrated. That's the important distinction between that. Because people hear steal like an artist, for example, the book, they hear steal like an artist and think it means copying. And that is not the lesson at all. It's to transform what you're taking in. It's to transform the input. And this quote jumped out at me, and this is another quote that the writer uses by, I believe it's Andre Gide. I don't know how to pronounce this. Andre Gide. Dude, I don't fucking know. It's French. Everything that needs to be said has already been said. But since no one was listening, everything must be said again. And that is literally like a very powerful quote that dispelled a lot of insecurities within me, where it's like, oh, there's plenty of people making videos like me. There's plenty of people making videos about these topics or making better videos about it. There's plenty of people out there making the same type of videos as me, and they're either better quality or they're much better at doing it, or someone's already doing what I want to do. So the fuck what, right? So what? That doesn't fucking matter. Because a lot of the stuff that has been said, or a lot of the stuff that you've learned, or a lot of stuff that you know, or a lot of the stuff that has been learned can and will be forgotten. A lot of that stuff can and will be unheard or ignored. And if another person says it, well, it was meant to be said. It was meant to be heard. A lot of these ideas that you want to say, you should put them out there. You should say them. It's not all useless copies or whatnot. Like, whatever you have to say will hit the target audience, and that's all that it matters. If it could influence one person, if it could influence and help, keyword help, influence and help one person, that is all that it matters. If it could help or improve one person's life, that is all that matters, because you improved a person's life. You changed the life. Right? And that is quite literally all that really matters in the grand scheme of things. Whatever it is that you're creating will persist the passage of time, because the idea itself will be carried on forward by someone else. Right? And that is like the whole point of it. And the other reason why this quote hit me like a truck is because this is basically what's happening online, right? Everybody's obsessed with finding new ideas or finding the new thing. Everybody's trying to be either woke as fuck, or they're trying to be traditional as fuck. They're trying to be the most optimized person ever. They're trying to be fucking fake intellectuals. They're trying to be these fucking pretentious geniuses, right? When in reality, everything is ancient. Right? All these concepts, none of these fucking concepts that they're so proud of knowing and understanding and being searchers of truth, none of this shit is new. All this shit has been said since ancient times, right? The packaging has changed, all right? The packaging has changed, and by the packaging, I mean the people saying it and the way that they say it has changed, but it's still the same thing. The lesson is still the fucking same. Everything that has been said about the government has been said a long ass fucking time ago by a lot of fucking people. Just because one guy said it doesn't mean that they're the ones that made it up, or, oh my God, this guy's a visionary. No, this is a concept as old as time. Yes, like anybody who understands history knows that history will inevitably keep fucking repeating itself, right? The lessons will never change. Until you learn that lesson, it'll keep happening over and over and over again. Anyways, I'm ranting. The other concept or philosophical concept or idea I ran into in my little research that I did the past week is the ship of Theseus. This is a fun one. You've probably heard of this in college, right? Is that if every plank on a ship is replaced over time, is it still the same ship? That is basically the basic version of the whole idea of the ship of Theseus. Right? Plank on a ship is replaced over time. Is it still the same ship? How does this apply to what I'm saying? Okay. Basically, it goes back to the whole attaching your own ideas and creating your own version of whatever it is that you're trying to fucking do, right? And making it your own by copying so many different other people. So now, all of a sudden, if you copy one person, people are going to be like, oh, you're copying this specific person. You're the second coming of this person. Wow, you are just like this certain fucking person. Okay, you copy another person and you add that into the mix, right? Then you copy another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one. And you keep going, right? Until eventually you have an entire ship, your entire body of work is an endless copy of your lived experiences. And all these things are known things. These are known ingredients. These are known concepts. However, now it's something completely unique to you, right? These are all known concepts. These are all known things. However, you made it in your own way, in your own vision. You made your own combination of things. And guess what? Someone can use the same ingredients for your body of work, but they could put the pieces in completely different places, and now that body of work is completely different from yours, right? It's something completely new and different. It's a new combination, so to speak. And the ship of Theseus also applies to what was said about the passage of time and how history fucking repeats itself, right? The environment changes, right? So in this case would be the countries, the methods, the cultures, the people, right? But the message adapts. The ideas work the same way. The truth stays. The language changes. The examples change. The audience changes, but the ship remains. The ship is the same. It's not the same, but it's the same. You know what I mean? And it's probably that maybe every generation inherits this old ship. We inherit this old train of thought, and then we eventually keep changing the planks, right? Thinking we're doing something different, but in reality, I mean, the ship is still the same, right? Every generation inherits old ships. They inherit old stories, old lessons, old truths, right? And our job isn't to invent new wisdom. Our job is to replace the rotting planks so that the next generation can understand it better. All this to say that original ideas don't exist, and that my videos are not fucking slop. I am this fucking petty. At the end of the day, it's not if original ideas or original content or original videos or original anything fucking exists. At the end of the day, it's not about, that's not where the originality comes from, if anything. It's about the emergence of your own original self, right? The gradual emergence of that. Because what's original in reality is the people and who they're able to become with those ideas, with those old, tried and true, known ideas in that way that we think. The goal is not to create something nobody has ever seen before. The goal is to create long enough so that people can finally see you in what you're doing. Consume what inspires you. Create what excites you. Take what your heroes gave you and push it somewhere they never thought to go. Use the ideas that they gave you. Use the concepts they created. Then do what they wouldn't do with them. Go where they didn't go. Because your influences should be your foundation, not your prison. And if we're all just remixes and copies of the people, experiences, stories, books, games, and failures, victories, and conversations that came before us, then make your remix worth listening to.